Welcome to Conversations with Jen and Mel. This show is about real life with real people, having real conversations, from better health to mental health and more. Let's check out the conversation right now with your host, Jen and Mel.
So on today's episode of Jen and Mel, we are talking about...
Does it matter if she makes more money?
Oh, hot topic. Why? Because sometimes guys got a big ego. So does it matter? Have you ever been in a relationship with a guy and you made more money and he handled it well? And what about the times when not so well? Like, because I've been both, so...
Honestly, I don't think I've had issues with people not handling it well. I can't say that. I don't think it's the preference. I think they would prefer that the tables be switched, but I don't recall it being an issue.
So I think that some things they just don't need to know.
Well, sometimes it's obvious when a woman makes more money.
I mean, some conversations we just don't need to have until like...
Okay, traditionally, why does it matter?
Traditionally, we were supposed to be at home barefoot and pregnant.
Exactly. So not only did she not make more money, but a lot of times she was not bringing any tangible green income into the home. So if you have a traditional man, then it probably does matter to him if she makes more money.
Absolutely. You know, I think that, that's such a weighty issue. It's such a weighty issue because you have men that have all these extraordinary dreams and have no idea how to bring it to pass, especially if he's dating a woman where it seems like the fruit of her labor is producing at a greater rate than his. And so it almost becomes as if they start butting heads, because now she becomes, if she wasn't already, now she's the, now we're on opposite ends. Like we're competitors.
But does that have to do more with the individuals in the relationship? Because I think when a guy or when a woman flaunts her income or her ability to make more money than the man, then he feels emasculated, and then that's where the issues can come in.
So sometimes I think it's even beyond flaunting. I think it's just the idea that sometimes in order for her to, it's everything that goes with that increase. And so sometimes he hasn't been able to get what he desires to get off the ground while she's excelling at what it is that she's putting her hands to, and she's being fruitful and she's multiplying, and he's stuck and stagnant. And so I think that becomes more of the opposition.
Sometimes, but I see a lot of couples who work together.
Oh, that's a big thing now.
So
please work together.
Having problems getting over that hump.
Oh, so
and she adds to that, then y'all gonna be on top anyway.
But if he's stuck, he doesn't always want her help.
Okay, so that's a different issue.
Oh, it's a whole bunch of different issues.
If you don't want your partner in life to assist you, what you get married
Sounds
for?
like a man to me.
No.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
The whole part, aren't we supposed to be the helpmate? So
I'm the help when they want us to help. So until they surrender to that place where they're asking for our help, our advice is not wanted.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that has not been my
We have to just kind of gentle, make it think it's their idea, them think it's their idea, and kind of.
Really?
Listen, yes.
Okay, I'm the different. I'm cut different. I can't do all that.
My ex-husband,
I'm not good at that.
He did not want my advice at all. It didn't matter how he could win with my advice. You think you make everything happen. No, I'm just trying to help you make it happen for you. Like, I'm not even trying to reap the benefits. I just want to see you win. Let me help you, have every opportunity to have what was given to me.
Okay, but what does that look like when you're saying... I don't understand.
What does that look like?
What does that look like? So he came home and he's telling you about his day and the things that didn't go right
me
in his day, and then you say, well, baby, did you blah,
no,
blah, blah?
That looks like me saying, okay, why don't I add to your salary, help you increase your salary? Why don't you come and do something for me while I increase your salary, give you more than you ever made in your life? Why don't I sit down
So you offer him a job.
Oh, gave him a job.
And he said, you could keep your stupid job because...
Oh, no.
He's not about to tell me
he
what
took
to
the job
do.
but didn't show up to work. He wanted the money but not the responsibility.
Okay.
And so, but that's not that. But as far as on the business,
I'm trying to figure out, you said a man, so we're talking generally, not specifically about your ex-husband. You said a man does not want your help.
Unsolicited.
And I'm trying to figure out, what does that look like? That he's sharing his day and then he doesn't want your feedback?
That's exactly.
That you would have to make how does it come about that you need to make it seem like it's his idea?
So when they're drowning in a place or they're failing in a place and they haven't figured out the solution, they're not always coming for us to solve the problem. And they're not always open to a solution. Even if you have one, they just want a place where they can voice it. Now, if their friend calls them...
I think that goes both ways. So, is that a man thing?
Well, I'm always more open to hear what he has to say. And I don't know if we always see it from a different perspective, but if it's an area that I'm failing at, then it doesn't matter how I feel. Now I'm open to suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
But men are not always that place. So sometimes it doesn't matter if your advice works or not. They're not even in that place to receive that from you because you're still the wife. And so I find myself I'm the wife at home and I'm not the therapist.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for me to try to resolve problems. I'm not the business consultant. I'm the wife.
Okay.
Now, when he wants that, he knows how to say, babe, I need you to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G.
Okay.
But if he hasn't asked me to do that, then it's just really not received well when I do. And he's not the only one like that. My father's like that. My stepfather is like that. It doesn't matter if you have a solution or an answer or a problem. He's not ready for that. I know a lot of men like that. And we joke about it like, well, I'm the wife. Now if his friend tells him, then it's different. The same advice. But when you're the wife, it's always seen differently. Well, and a lot of men are seen differently.
All right.
So it's kind of a running joke. Well, I'm glad.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad that's not your experience. But yeah. That's
not that. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
My household of roles is probably reversed. I don't want your advice. I want you to listen. Don't try to fix my problem. Just listen.
Okay. I think I want you to listen, but I don't always want to be the victim. Every time I tell you there's a problem, I just can't always receive that I did something. Well, you shouldn't have. No, I'm going to need it's not always be me. I couldn't always, every time I say something with haywire, because now I ain't gonna tell you nothing with haywire, because everything is gonna be hunky-dory, because I'm always anyway. So now back to business, but for real. And so sometimes the dynamic becomes more than money. It becomes ego. It becomes centered around ego, and women get egotistical too.
Yes.
They throw it. Sometimes women are just, sometimes it matters to them that they make more. So they figure that their role is different.
Yes. And that's why those men who do not appreciate the women making more is because they perceive, okay, the roles are different. The power it's a different power dynamic.
I ain't got nothing to say.
Like, the person who makes the most money makes the decisions. So then,
listen, my husband slowed me down in the beginning.
Okay.
He said, listen, this is him slowing me down because I wear a bad pair of boxers. You hear me? I could wear some boxers like nobody's business. Listen, all day long with the bikinis underneath. I can actually do it if I have to. Got on the bra and the boxers. I'm just saying.
Okay.
But I can.
But
my husband slowed me down in the beginning, and he was like, because I was used to making all the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like with my ex-husband, he didn't care. He didn't care about a decision. He didn't care if I brought it to him. He wanted to look at me upside. I mean, he did not care. So as long as everything was taken care of, he was not interested, And so now I'm married to a man that wants us to make dinner together, or talk about dinner together if we don't make it together, or go shopping or decide on every day. Like, if we're going on a trip, he doesn't like surprises. So now we've got to talk about the details of the trip. And so he's involved in every decision. So it's a we now. But he told me, he said, you say you want a partner, but you have to allow someone to be that to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the beginning of him slowing me down. And I told him, I said, listen, I've been the boss a very long time. So you might have to repeat this a few times before I get it.
So, okay. Let's say you all needed to purchase a house or a vehicle, something that, and y'all disagree.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, I think you would allow the mister to...
Until we agree on something.
But y'all don't agree. We would not agree.
We would keep looking. So what? That's how it was when we purchased our house. Like, listen, first of all, I'm already here in Oak Park and the Detroit area, So now we're going to buy a house over here in the Muskegon County, and it's got a whole lot of hood, y'all. It's like, it's got a whole lot of hood. It's got a whole lot of hood. And so Pookie and Ray Ray and them, I mean, the family just swallowed. The family is swallowed up in the hood. It's a whole lot of that. I'm like, you can move me there. So I can't.
Okay.
Wait, so
let's say, what if he went and bought a house?
We kept looking.
No. What if he bought the house? He bought the house.
He wouldn't. Because remember, he's the one we've got to do everything together. And so we just kept working.
So this is hypothetical, not specific to you and the mister. If a man goes out and buys a house, the woman, is she just supposed to move in and make it work, even if she is not happy with that location? The type of house, nothing about it. She don't like it.
No input?
And she make more money. No input.
He just go buy a house.
Yes, because he's the man. He's the husband, and that's what he do.
That's a real conversation. No. That's just not about to happen. You're just gonna move me into. I'm like, okay, so babe, what's the plan for this house? Because I don't like it. So
the plan is we're gonna live and build raise our kids in this house.
Okay, so listen. You've purchased this home. I realize it belongs to us, and this is not gonna be home for me, and I don't want it to be home for me. But I'll make it home for now, and we can prepare it and set it up, and we can rent it out while we work on stacking our chips to get something that we can both agree on. So this is a good investment property. We're going to make it home for now.
Okay, so you're assuming that he's a reasonable... that he is a reasonable man.
Oh, but see, no. Babe, this is going to be an amazing investment property. Now, if I got to convince you, because you're so hooked on this home, oh, babe, you were thinking about us long term. Maybe we can leave this for the kids. Put it on the kids.
You gonna put it on the kids?
Put it on the kids.
For the kids.
Maybe we can.
I know 2 people that has happened to, where the man done bought the house.
And the woman didn't even like it.
And then she did not like it.
Oh,
she would not.
Babe,
she like,
this is an amazing investment property. And so next time, why don't we pick us something that we can retire in together? We'll pick us out something together. But for now, let's work on this and bring this to a place where, let's upgrade this house. Okay. Increase it so it can increase in value. And it'll be, great to, if we don't rent it out, we could sell it. And if we just did A, B, C, D, E, F, and G to it, we could get how much more? Yeah, make an investment in property. Investment property. Our first investment property. Because that ain't home.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Convince him. Babe, you know what?
Convince him. But everybody is not agreeable. Some people you cannot convince.
Convince what?
Convince
it's a great money-making opportunity.
Into an investment property when he bought this house for you to reside in and raise your
Did
family.
I need to refocus you?
You are so funny. Okay.
I need to refocus you.
So it doesn't matter if she make more money. Obviously it does. Yes, it matters.
Well, right now, I don't know that. I don't know. I do believe this. Mm-hmm. That, what's that song about somebody having their own? Somebody had their own. You got to have your own.
Oh, God bless the child.
God bless the child. That's God.
But I think that is where some of the why our generation is so independent is because our mothers and grandmothers did not have that same voice in their relationships.
Oh, mine did. Oh, my grandfather, he was a great provider, but my grandmother never ceased to go to work. She didn't have to buy anything. He would come home with new cars, furs, bought nice houses, and she made sure she had her own money. And then at some point, my mother told her, you need your own bank account too. And so we still have that bank account open to this day. We pass it on from one generation to the next because it doesn't have any fees attached to it. And so, yeah, so she started putting her money in her own account that she would have her own money so she didn't have to ask to do when she needed. She always had a rainy day fund. And so my mother, when my father started his practice, she was right there supporting him. And of course, so she made more money because he went out and became an entrepreneur, starting from scratch almost. And so it was always okay. So she's retired and now he's still working. He makes more money now, but I'm sure there was a time where
the roles were reversed.
But he also was, when he started making more money, I don't know last time she paid a car note, bought a house, paid for a house, or, you know what I'm saying? And so, but she always had her own. And if he knew what she spent, they wouldn't know each other's name. So what I'm saying is,
so you're saying your mom was always independent as far as having her own money, her own.
And even when my grandfather,
blah, blah, blah.
even when my grandfather took care of my grandmother, there came a time where she had her own money, didn't have to ask, was independent. And even though he had all the bills paid, she still had her own money and didn't need to ask for anything because she still worked.
Okay. So I come from a different experience. My mother did not work because he did not want her to work. Her job was to take care of the home and these children.
That's a full-time job.
Which was
that deserves as much compensation.
It should come with its own compensation. But and I know other ladies who had those same traditional roles. And I think when you are the person who makes more money, the roles change.
So,
and not all men are going to be okay with that.
No. And all men are not going to be okay with you not having an income, because sometimes they can't differentiate between you being the wife or the child. Because they already have that fatherly nature in the first place. And so now it's kind of, some of them have a hard time understanding that we're a unit and we're a pair versus I'm your daddy. You know. And so they become more domineering over them and more controlling. Yeah. And I think that has been my thing. I never wanted, when I was a young kid, I wanted someone that would come in and come to my rescue and take care of me. And, you know, and then I realized didn't need that. I needed a partner. Because I never wanted a man to feel like I was his child. And I never wanted him to need help and I couldn't be available. And I couldn't help. And today's society, it's a hard place to be, where it really takes two to survive and to thrive financially. And so for all that burden to be placed upon a man, sometimes that's more taxing than he can handle and a great strain on a relationship. And so I understand where seasons is like that, but for him to have to carry that throughout the duration of your relationship, that's a lot of extra weight to put on your relationship and on him in general. So what happens when he fails and you can't cover him? What happens when he fails and you're the help and you can't help? Because at that time, cooking and sex ain't gonna work.
But that's when it's not your grandmother specifically, but that's where I think the grandmamas was putting stash. They seem to always have a stash somewhere for those moments. And also they were good with their hands. So the cooking might have turned into meals that they were selling, or craft that they selling blankets or clothes or whatever it is that they crafted with their hands to cover that gap until he was able to get back on his feet.
So I just come from a family of working women. Even my other grandmother, I remember, she used to work at the hospital until she retired, an occupational therapist. And so I just remember always working and always having that great sense of independence. And I think that sometimes in that sense of independence, I think they may have even I don't know it. Do they lose a sense of being honorable or honoring the man, or is that just something that happens throughout the course of the relationship? Like, is there a disposition where that shifts? Like, I'm not exactly sure what happens there, because the relationships have been were challenging.
I think it depends on the woman, because some women are dishonoring, period. Not just because they have more money.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes a relationship
make more money.
Yeah, both of my grandmothers had some really hard relationships with their husbands. So,
but I also think that if you were in a relationship where at one point the power differential was leaning more towards his side, and maybe he wasn't the kindest person, that if it shifts, now, kind of like the Celie and Mr. story. She got her shop and she was making her clothes and he had fallen off. It was a different countenance that she carried about her that said, screw you.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But what's interesting is that it's almost like the same things that were underlying just become exacerbated.
Yes.
It's like it was always something there he had against her. It was always something there, but then that thing just becomes bigger than life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a big deal. Yeah. It's interesting how money can do that to somebody, to a relationship. How it can blow up a whole relationship. Money can blow up a whole relationship.
A lot of things.
Having it, and not even the lack thereof, the having it.
Sometimes it's the having it.
Yeah.
Because you can make different choices. Like, I don't have to put up with your foolishness if I got my own money and I can bounce.
Oh, listen, I used to tell my ex-husband, I said, listen, I ain't your mama and you ain't your daddy. I ain't got no kids by nobody. And at any moment, this can be done.
That's what I'm saying.
all this abuse. Sir, I don't know why you think we so tired here. I don't need you to pay my bills, sir. I ain't got no babies by you, sir. And so I think that sometimes we get, I think we get tied into relationships and into places because of money. And so because I do so many therapy sessions with women, what I'm finding is that even women who were making more money, when they have a man that can come in and make up the hedge, they will begin to become slack in what they do and put their responsibility on him, and then a relationship folds because the man can't carry the pressure of his responsibilities and hers. And so I see that a lot. I see men trying to carry responsibility that's been handed to them that they can't carry, and the relationship fold. But initially, she was the one making more money. But she was looking for a way of escape because she was tired of being the boss. And when we get tired, but the answer is not just take your bills and your relationship and say, here.
But some men act like that's what they want. Or
that's
what they tell you.
They do. Until they realize they can't bear it.
To them, well,
they need
to be asking more questions and doing their research before. Don't tell me to hand over my stuff to you because you can have it. I don't want it.
Wow.
So after I give it to you, don't start backtracking now. Doing the moonwalk, talking about you can't carry it.
Wait a minute.
You mean?
Not when the mortgage is $10,000 behind. I'm just sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Sad but true.
Sad but true.
Sad but true. All right. Here we go. Stay tuned for more conversations with Jen and Mel.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Conversations with Jen and Mel. Please join us every Monday at 8 p.m. for new episodes on Facebook, YouTube, Rick.tv, and the Rick TV app by way of Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Join us again next time on Conversations with Jen and Mel.